see. All right, hi, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm super excited. I'm Dr. Jade. I don't have any disclosures relevant for this presentation. So a little bit about me. You all heard that I opened straight from residency, but I'm board certified family medicine physician. I'm a wife. I love my husband, Carlos. He's so supportive, so shout out to any of the spouses in here that are trying to learn about DPC. He's definitely a real husband of DPC. I am a mom of two little girls that you probably heard screaming at the mixer last night, Ava and Aaliyah. Ava's 4, yeah, you know, and then Aaliyah's 2. And so they are just the light and joy of my life, and they're super excited that we're headed to Disney World. So thank you guys for hosting this in Orlando. And you know, I'm a children's book author, and I love being a wellness advocate for my community. So loving DPC, and I'm excited to share about my journey. So my agenda for my part of the talk is my journey to DPC, how DPC straight from residency happened, what did that look like? Shout out any residents in the building, little wave of the hand. Woo, woo, woo. I know I met like at least 4 last night, so excited, happy to chat after more. But how DPC straight from residency, how did that happen? My dream DPC, what that looks like, how I grew my dream DPC practice, and boundaries, balance, and freedom, because I'm really an advocate of balance and enjoying your life, okay? And so we did a little bit about who's not yet open. We call that DPC Curious, but I also like to see who's in the house. What about DPC newbies that's less than a year in DPC? Okay, awesome. And then a DPC doc, I just said 1 to 5 years is DPC doc. I just made these terms up. Okay, perfect. And then DPC vets, which in DPC, that's like if you're open more than 5 years, you're like an expert, geriatric DPC. That's just wisdom. And I look forward to hearing about the wisdom. So thank you guys so much for that. All right, so a little bit about my journey. That probably wasn't a good start. Okay. It's like the geriatric pregnancy thing. Okay, so all right, my journey. So baby Jade, I started saying I wanted to be a doctor at 4 years old. That's when I started saying, I want to be a doctor when I grow up, okay? And then med school Jade, that was my graduation from medical school. I was still on the train of, I want to be a doctor, okay? Then we transitioned into resident Jade at the top, and resident Jade was super excited. That's my first day of residency. I was like, I love the clinic. I'm a family medicine doctor. I'm so excited. We'll talk about how they quickly burnt me out. Just to tell the story, people say, how can you be burnt out as a resident? You haven't even started anything. You have no gray hair. What are you talking about? And what happened was they taught me, you go in, you be efficient, get in and out, cut them off if you need to, put your hand on the door. And I was like, okay. And they're like, finish your notes. And I was like, okay. So I do what they say do, and I'm super efficient, and they're like, great job, but all your colleagues are behind, so you're taking their patients now. And so I'm like, wait, that's how this works? If I do the way you say to do it, which is already super rude and horrible quality of care, now I get the gift of taking on the load of all my other co-residents because we're a team. But yeah, that burnt me out. Yeah, and it sucked the joy out of clinic, which I love clinic, and it really sucked the joy. And so luckily, I was not taught about DPC in residency because of course they're trying to feed into their insurance-based system, so they really don't want us to know about it. But a chat with one of my attendings, just on the side, she was saying, what do you want to do after training? This was year 2 of residency. And I said, I really want to be like a community doctor. I want to take really great care of my patients. I want them to just be able to reach me when they need to reach me. And I want to help them with prevention and help them prevent and reverse chronic disease. I want a really great lifestyle too. Like, I really do. I want to hang out with my family and have a family. And she was like, well, maybe it sounds like you may be interested in something called direct primary care. I had never heard of that. And that led me down a whole rabbit hole of what is this? And so my last 2 years of residency, I became like a DPC sponge. The pandemic was happening during my residency, so all of the conferences were virtual, which was a blessing to me. So while my other colleagues were sleeping on night shifts, I was watching the conferences, looking at the YouTube channels, reading the books, and I just dove and just learned for those 2 years of residency. So while at the end of residency, while my colleagues were signing a contract, they're like, did you sign your contract? I'm like, no, I'm starting a business. They thought I was crazy. they might still think I'm crazy, but now they're calling me saying, okay, about this whole DPC thing, because now they're a couple years into their employed position. And so, yeah, and then down here at the bottom, this is business owner Jade, and pretty cool. I'll tell you how it all happened on the next slide, but I had my baby. That's at my ribbon cutting at the bottom with my husband Carlos holding my 8-week-old, our second baby, Aaliyah. And so, yeah, I had the baby, second baby, and then I said in 8 weeks, we're gonna just open this business. That's how this is gonna happen. And that was straight from residency. The bottom right, you see me moonlighting at urgent care. That was really fun, my first year. That's a lot of sarcasm built into there. It was hard, but worth it to have a debt-free business. And the top right is kind of what people see on social media, like ooh, she looks like she's having a great life. And I am, I'm loving it. And I love just being able to do the things I really love to do and care for my patients the way I really want to care for them and enjoy my life the way I really want to enjoy it. So DPC straight from residency, just to dive into that journey a bit more, how it looked for me was, we have resident Jade at that top left. At the bottom, intern year, the 1 year they say is the hardest year of residency. Don't get pregnant during residency, especially intern year. What do? Get pregnant intern year of residency. So that's me having baby Ava. Can't remember my kids' ages or names right now, but you guys know I love my kids, okay? And then at the top middle, in the pink, that's actually my last clinic day, the 3rd year of residency. And I was so excited for that to be my last clinic day. Had no idea what was about to happen because, again, I was the only one out of my cohort that did not sign a contract for that employed position. And then at the bottom middle, that's right after I finished residency, a couple months later, having baby Aaliyah, took a couple months off before, literally a couple months off, 8 weeks to be exact, off, and then launched Inspire Primary Care. And at the right side, that's us. At the very far right, that's us. All the boxes got delivered to our one-room space, and so I had the baby strapped to my chest, my 2-year-old running around, us unboxing everything, and exciting to have that sign on the door and officially be a business and say, okay, we're doing this. So this one I really like, and that's my dream DPC. We said it already, and you hear it all the time. If you've seen one DPC, you've seen one DPC. And what I've learned is it's really about what you want the DPC practice to be. And what's beautiful about having people that have done this and built this and established this ahead of you, you can really learn from this and learn what they did and how they did it and how they crafted it, and take the things that you like and that work for you and use those, and the things that don't really fit what you like, not incorporate those into yours. And so what I've really done is built my DPC around my life, my desired life, not my life around my DPC. So some things that I'm doing is I'm really taking the direct primary care model, but I'm doing it my way with my style and my flavor, which will really attract the people that you're called to serve and called to take care of. And so for me, what I've learned is, a lot of the time when I hear about new people in direct primary care, they want to know, well, how many patients do you have? And how much do you charge? And, it's like we're trying to do the math and we're trying to fit into this one box. But what I've learned now, being 2 years in, is that for me, it's a feeling. When people say, where are you going to cap your practice? How many are you going to take? Well, I'm thinking to myself, well, when I'm working more than I really want to work, how about I close my panel? When I'm not able to answer text messages as fast as I'd like to, how about I close my panel? So I'm doing it as a feeling, and I'm estimating now. When I opened, I said, I'm going to cap at 600 because I heard that was the magic number of DPC. And then I started getting patients, and I said, okay, I'm going to cap at 400. And then I started filling my patient practice more, and now we're approaching 200. And I said, you know what? It feels like I'm headed towards my capacity of full based on how much I want to work and what I want my lifestyle to be like and the flexibility I want to have. So I'm thinking I'll cap at 250 and then scale by hiring others to the team. So all of that I was able to figure out as I went. You don't have to know everything the first day, and you can be flexible and change as things go on. And so I'm really enjoying accepting that you don't have to fit one mold. We're subscription-based, we're membership-based, we're not billing insurance, we are direct primary care. Price point, that's a big question and concern and debate. but it's really about what is right for your business, your patients, your hometown. And I figured out and kind of released myself from trying to fit into one thing and really made it work for my business, which has also been really enjoyable. Offering services that I love, the things that I love, like procedures and women's health, I really promote it and let people know I do it. The things I don't love as much, like, okay, it's not that I don't love pediatric care, it's just that it's not my favorite. So I'm not gonna tell everybody, oh, all the sports physicals, come here and bring your kiddos here. It's okay if they do, but I'm really incorporating the things I love, which makes my practice a place I love to be. I'm niching where I wanna niche. I really enjoy helping my patients transition to a healthier lifestyle and a healthier weight. So I really promote the wellness aspects of my practice. I obtained additional training in obesity medicine. I got certified through the Columbia program, and so now I'm offering medical weight loss and helping my patients transition to a healthier weight, which is also helping them to reverse so many of the chronic diseases that I'm treating in my primary care office. I'm loving it, I'm loving it. And then having boundaries. Super big on boundaries. I'm like the boundaries queen. But it helps with the joy and the longevity, and I'll talk about some of my boundaries that I have. Being flexible, okay? We talked about that, but as my business grows, and I'm super rigid. I like to have a checklist and like naturally type A, right? So that I had to grow into that in DPC, but I've learned that the flexibility really helps with the joy, which I had to grow into, and it's okay being uncomfortable and figuring it out as we go. So how I grew my dream DPC, people ask me this question a lot because again, I did med school in Illinois, I did residency in California. So when I came back to my hometown of Las Vegas after being gone for over a decade, I was a new person that no one knew. I was starting from scratch, from zero, okay? And so it was a little bit like throwing paint against the wall as far as how do I market and how do I figure this out? How do I attract and bring in people who want to pay me something every month, okay? And so I tried a lot of different things, and there were some things that were successful that helped really bring my patients in, and there were a lot of things I did that were not as successful. A little list I put together, you know, I went to different events and sponsored booths. Those didn't really bring, and I say all this to say, what makes one person's members come in will be completely different from another. I just wanted to kind of share examples of things that worked and didn't work for me. But some of these on the left that didn't work for me may bring your people in, okay? So doing sponsored booths and events, they really didn't bring people into my practice like I thought they would. I had a radio show on a local radio channel, and you had to listen to it live. I noticed that an older population, most of the Medicare age that wanted to use their Medicare were listening to the radio show at that time, so it really didn't work, especially since at that time I wasn't opted out of Medicare. And urgent care, it's interesting in Las Vegas, we're we call it we know it's a desert, but it's also a medical desert. Very few primary care physicians to the population, so urgent cares are thriving. It's 3 to 6 month average wait for an insurance-based primary care doctor in Las Vegas. Don't know about your area, but you wanna know what that is in your area. And so I thought, oh, working at urgent care, I'm with an urgent care that actually lets me hand out my card and tell them about my practice. How awesome is that? But it turns out the people that go to urgent care all the time, they liked going to urgent care. And they're like, no, this is my primary doctor. I'm like, no, it's not actually. But they thought it was, and so it didn't bring people in like I thought it would, okay? But that was just my experience. Some may do urgent care and attract members that way. Magazines and newspapers, it was so nice to be featured on these magazines and all of these things, and they're really cute, and they, it was great for brand awareness, but it didn't really bring in memberships. And I'm all about what actually transitions into paid clients, okay? And a publicist, I hired a publicist, which sounded really fancy, but again, it wasn't necessary. It was the simple things that really brought in members to my practice, which is going on Instagram and literally just showing what I do. If you guys follow me on Instagram, Dr. Jade MD or at Inspire Primary Care, I literally just show what I do. I just show, oh, someone's coming in for a pap smear. Yes, we do pap smears. Oh, new member. A new member is coming. Just telling and documenting as I go, that brought in new people. Showing before and afters, testimonials, those are the things that brought in new patients. Word of mouth, that really took off for me after about 50 members, so it did take some time for the word of mouth. I needed a little bit of people being with me consistently so that they would tell other people, but after about 50 members, that really took off, okay, for me. Google reviews, so getting those 5-star reviews from my members. People go online, they want to read reviews. We do it for restaurants, they're going to do it for doctors. So once I started accumulating all of those 5-star reviews, and in Las Vegas, the doctor with nothing but 5-star reviews, that doesn't really exist. So it really makes you stand out. It really does. And that really brought people in. Podcast, so going onto local podcasts at that bottom picture, you'll see I went to the different local Las Vegas podcasts that were really popular and let them interview me. And then I found out that, people actually want to hear me podcast as well, so I started my own podcast, the She NSPIRES podcast, and just giving people information. And then they're like, she's my credible source. Of course I want to go to her, or if I'm not the right person to go to her, if I hear somebody else saying that they need a doctor, I'm going to tell them about her. So that was really helpful for me. Speaking engagements, going to local speaking engagements and just telling people, educating them, doing lunch and learns, those were really helpful as well. Referral networking, things like BNI, if you've heard about it, that was helpful for me as well. And just doing community events, I'll tell you a little more about that, but just being involved in the community in a more organic way, not just a paid booth type of way. Those type of things where people got to know me outside of the white coat were really helpful for me. And now, how I grew my dream DPC, most of my members came from Instagram. Most of my members came, literally, they tell me, Instagram, 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 Instagram. This was my population, but you have to understand that I'm intentionally attracting busy professionals, 30s to 50s. That's like my ideal person I want to take care of in my practice. So a lot of them are on Instagram. And this is a really small slide because it was pretty busy as far as my Dr. Jade's tips for growing your business with Instagram. A lot of people, especially DPC docs, would text me and email me or DM me and say, how are you growing your members through Instagram? So I put together a PDF. I will email it to you. If you just email me, it was kind of hard to put on this whole slide, but if you just email me when I get back from Disney World next week, I will send you the PDF, okay? It's my gift to you. It is gold. It literally breaks down how I attract members through Instagram and what I did, and I think you all will find it helpful. Okay, so my top 3 marketing, the top 3 things that really brought members in for me: Instagram, I said, word of mouth took off after about 50 members, and then those Google reviews. That was my top 3. So once I figured that out, I laser focused on those things, being consistent on Instagram, taking care of my members and asking them to tell other people, and then asking my members to leave a review, especially after I did something where they're like, oh my God, I would have never had a doctor do this in an insurance-based practice. And I'd say, here's my Google link, will you just put it on Google, like 30 seconds? And they do, and they really start to accumulate. Those are my helpful things. So what DPC has given me, okay? Boundaries, balance, freedom, and joy. So here are some of the things that looks like as far as balance and boundaries. So some of my boundaries, and this will look different for every DPC practice. Don't judge me if you guys like to be on call 24/7, but I don't, and I won't. So what boundaries look like for me is my members can text me Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If they text me at 5:01, they will not hear from me until the next business day. And I have to be a part of the boundaries. I'll see a text at 5:01 and I'm like, just answer that text. And then I have to tell myself, no, now this is your personal time. Now this is your family time. So I set the boundary and I have to keep myself accountable and I have to keep my members accountable. But that helps me to really be able to do this for a long time because you can get burnt out in DPC if you are going 24/7. So boundaries are important. In office, some DPC doctors want their schedules to look like an insurance-based schedule. You get in the clinic at 8 a.m., you leave at 5 p.m. You know, it's a better lifestyle than insurance-based practices, but that's not what I want my life to look like. I'm in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 3 days a week. I get in the office at 11 a.m., I leave at 3:30 p.m. That's my schedule. That's when people are able to book with me, okay? However, my members have access Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Monday and Friday when I'm not in the office, it's not days they can schedule appointments with me. It's still days they can text me, still days they can email me, and if they have something that I'm like, oh, let's hop on the phone, or guess what, I'm in the clinic the next day on Tuesday if it's a Monday. So it allows me to really have flexibility. So I'm virtual, or I call Monday, Friday my flex, okay? Family, personal time, my members know that evenings and weekends are for myself and for my family. They know that I have Ava and Aaliyah. They know that I have Carlos. They know that I am big on my own self-care, and they encourage it. And they're like, you're going to Orlando, you're making it a family vacation too, great job. Okay, we'll see you next week. Okay, I let them know when my vacation's coming up, and they know that their doctor takes at least minimal quarterly vacations, okay? Part of my self-care. Monthly self-care days. The first Friday, typically of every month, I block off my complete calendar for a self-care day. Usually it's a spa day, but whatever I want to do that day to just fill my cup, that's important to me. That's what I do. 12 to 1 p.m., a lunch break. I schedule a lunch break for myself for an hour. I didn't have that in my insurance-based, well, I wasn't like insurance-based position, but as a resident, I just ate through, you know. Did you guys get lunch breaks? I don't know, I didn't. And so, you know, I would have to eat and go see a patient, type the note while I'm eating a salad. So I actually block off that hour, and I will be honest, usually I will eat for like 30 minutes, and then the other 30 minutes I'll go live and do my Instagram stuff. But it's a time to just pause in the day. And I also make sure that they're a good fit for my practice. So we do meet and greets, virtually 15-minute meet and greets, just to make sure they're a good fit, a mutual fit, that I want to care for them, they want me to care for them, we have the same expectations, so that they know that I'm available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and no, you cannot call me at 5:01, okay, if you think you are having a heart attack or something like that. Yes, they know what an actual emergent call is, and we go over urgent versus emergent. But we make sure it's a good fit before they sign up for my practice. It makes it really, really, really enjoyable. Now, when we talk about quality care for the patient and quality lifestyle for the physician, this is what I love, because people hear boundaries and sometimes it feels a little cringy, like, oh, I'm telling people no, or I'm not gonna care for them if it's 5:01 p.m. That's mean, they're paying you a membership. But no, they actually really like that I have a balanced lifestyle, and when I'm on, I'm on. When they text me, I text them back. When they have a concern, I'm right there. And so I tell them, that's a lot of access Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I am 100% during that time. But when that time is outside of the boundary, that's my time. That's my time. And so I love that we have 55 5-star reviews on Google now, and just of people saying how much they love the experience at our practice. And really it's just because, not that I'm doing anything super phenomenal, just taking care of them, just spending time with them, just not rushing them, and being there when they need it. And so that is really, we don't have a lot of competition when it comes to quality, which is unfortunate for our healthcare system, but great for our DPC practices and really growing this movement. And so a few things about what freedom and joy looks like for me. One thing I really love, again, is promoting community wellness. And we started doing something at my practice in my community called With the Doc events. And I really try to encourage people to enjoy wellness and working out. I actually just naturally love to work out, and a lot of people don't. So what has been helpful is just showing people different experiences that they probably wouldn't try. So we've done Sweat with the Doc, and I partner with local businesses that are also trying to grow their business, so they do these events for free with us. And so we partnered with a local gym, and we did Sweat with the Doc, free fitness class. We did Box with the Doc recently, where we met and did a boxing class. Dance with the Doc, I'm a dancer, so we did 2 different Dance with the Docs, an African Dance with the Doc. We went out to our local mountains and did Hike with the Doc. We went to our local CrossFit gym, did CrossFit with the Doc. So just fun things where it feels like, wow, this is my community, they get to know me. And most of these people don't join the practice, but they stay connected with our business and they refer to us. This becomes my referral network just by serving in my community, in a way, doing something I already naturally like to do. I'm gonna work out anyway. So now let me just invite these people to work out with me. It's really fun. And the other part of the freedom and joy is more time with my family. So, you know, at the top left, being able to host a Peppa Pig pajama party for my 2-year-old, taking my kids to the snow, which I know for many of you that's not a big deal, but in Las Vegas, that's a big deal. Like, my kids had only thought snow was for Elsa on Frozen, and so they're like, oh, this is a real thing. So yeah, you know, doing these things, we have 4 generations, my grandmother, my mom, my 2 kids, so being able to spend time and enjoy the 4 generations while we're all here. The bottom, my husband and I going to New York for our anniversary, buying our dream home at the top right. We've been in our home a few years, and each year we've hosted about 50 people for Christmas and holidays. My husband and I have started a nonprofit organization. That was us at the bottom at a gala, one of our events. Just pouring into the community. In the middle at the bottom is literally just reading my kids' bedtime stories every night. When I was moonlighting at Urgent Care, they said that we were open 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. where I was going 13 hours straight, but they would still make us take patients that came in at 9:01 and 9:02, so I wouldn't get home till 10 p.m. So I wouldn't be able to read my kids' bedtime stories, like just the simple things. So being there every night to do that, to do their hair in the morning, cook them breakfast, take them off to daycare before I go in for, from 11 to 3:30, okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And so literally enjoying my life while also taking really high quality care of patients has been my favorite part of DPC. So thank you all so much. Keep in touch, and there's my Instagrams, website, email me. I'm happy to answer questions. I'll be around obviously for the Q&A and lunch, especially the residents if you have questions, but I hope you all will just take a little bit of that to know that we can actually have boundaries. You're not a 24-hour doc, and we can have a lot of joy and make it look the way we want for our own individual lives. Thank you.